And we're back with another episode of Crash's Customs here on YouTube. This time we're working with a little found object, I like to call it. He's an action figure, kind of, that we found in a little gas station in a small little town in Half Moon Bay, California, as we were driving up the coast. He was sitting in the corner of a bin, and I don't know, there was something about him. Something about that cheeky grin that you can see right here that he drew to us. And as the day went on, I carry a Lego on my keychain. I have a Lego keychain for things like this. And I noticed that this little guy, he matched up in scale with Lego pretty well. So I decided, why not make a Lego head out of him? And the rubber is kind of bad. It's a bad rubber. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a silicone mold of him and make a resin cast so that I have a little bit harder. Whoa, there he is. He's creeping. He's a creepy little guy. We're going to make a silicone mold and a resin cast of him. And that was what they call museum wax. And he floats. Anything that you mold really will float. So you got to kind of stick it to the bottom of the cup. And so you can see here I've got a 2-part silicone that I'm mixing up, and I stuck him to the bottom of the cup facing up at me. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a silicone mold so that it'll be easier to fit on the Lego head. This rubber was a really soft rubber, so it wasn't going to be, there he is, glug, 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 as he's preparing to sleep with the silicone. The silicone fishes. Anyway, yeah, his rubber on his head is a really a soft rubber, so it wasn't that good of a rubber, and so I wanted to make a harder, more firmer object to work with. So that's why I decided to do a silicone mold and a resin cast of him. And here he is, just after the silicone is molded and cured. I am able to kind of pull him out relatively easy and mix up some resin here. It's a 2-part. Again, I'm using Smooth Cast, Smooth On products. And so if you're curious, you can go onto Smooth On's website and read a little bit more. It is a little bit toxic, not too bad, but you know, if you're sanding and drilling and filling these things, you might want to wear a little bit of protection, respiratory. Here he is after the resin is cured. I'm speeding these parts up because they're not really that exciting, to be honest with you. It's just sitting and watching paint dry or resin cure in this matter. And again, I apologize I didn't realize how overexposed this was as I was filming it, but too little too late. I only had one camera working at the time, and so I had to kind of make this work just to show you that I'm kind of filing down and cutting off some of the flash. This is where you might want to put a little bit of a respirator on, because you're getting little tiny particles, and it's a resin. You just don't want to deal with it. And this might be another good time to mention that some of this stuff could be dangerous, as you can see what I'm doing here. I know my drill press, and I know kind of its limits, so I'm able to hold it. But if you've never worked with a drill press before, I don't recommend this. You definitely want to, if you're under 18, get your parents' permission, or at least, you know, you want to be careful. Definitely, if you're under 18, get your parents' permission. If you're not under 18, have respect for these materials and these machines that you're working with. That drill bit, I was lucky enough to find a drill bit that is the perfect size for a Lego. I just took a Lego body and matched it up to the drill bits that I had, and I found one that was the perfect diameter, and so that worked. And I had to get a little bit of a clean on him. I had to, he had some missing pieces and some bumps that were missing, so I cleaned him up a little bit with some epoxy and resculpted some areas that I had lost. And here I am coming in with an underpainting with a teal, and my theory for this guy here is he's going to be green, a lot of green, because he, you know, very alien-esque, so he's going to be a green alien. And I wanted to kind of kick in some shadows and make him a little bit more interesting than that original crappy 75-cent toy that we had. So he's going to be a little bit more interesting with several layers of colors as we go, but this underpainting will shine through on the top coat that I give him with the green. As you can see, here's the green here, and I'm just going to paint really no technique here. I'm just spray painting the whole thing green. And as I spray paint that green, that darker green is going to shine through a little bit and kind of just give it some depth and some interesting tones. Right around here, I realized he looked like a watermelon, and there was no turning back after that. He's pretty much a watermelon, but we love him anyway. We ended up naming him Morton, partly for the gas station, had some sort of Morton or Mortimer reference to it. But after I did the green, I sprayed it with a clear coat, and that's so that skin tone is kind of protected now, and so I'm masking off the eyes so that I can concentrate on the eyes now, because I wanted the eyes to be a different color. I came in with like a really deep kind of a lavender purple, and really that's where his character really started to shine. I really did enjoy I liked the way this looked. Not gonna lie, this purple really started kind of drawing me. And I think that's the only color I used for the eyes. I had a couple other colors out, but after I started going with the purple, I realized there's just no reason to go any further. He looked really good as he was. And so I took him and we let him dry, and I spray painted him again. Or not spray painted, sorry. I protected him again with a little clear coat. And now we're going in with the detail work. So I've got the skin tone and the base tone for the eyes done, and we're going in with the detail. And this detail took a lot longer than I had anticipated. It took quite a bit to do the detail on this guy. You can see that I'm wearing the magnifying glass there for some just to get a better view. My old eyes ain't what they used to be. But honestly, I paint so much better when I'm painting detail. I generally wear those kind of jeweler's magnifying glasses because they help so much when you're looking through those as opposed to looking through the normal eyes. You pick up so much more that you don't see normally. And I decided to go with the eyes. I decided to, I had a purple already, and so I painted a little bit more. This is watercolor that I'm working with, as you can see. I painted a little bit more in with another lavender. With it had a little bit more of a red tone to it. Now we're going around the eyes, just kind of getting them a little bit darker with a gray. One reason I do like working with the watercolor is that you can go very subtle. The watercolor doesn't. You can kick it in really hard if you wanted to. Like this opaque watercolor will lay down a really rich color, but you can dial it back quite a bit, and that's what I do like about these watercolors here. Still going with the detail. I cut a lot of video out, and I sped this up, and you can see how slow going it is. His teeth definitely took some time. We're digging in some shadows there. Again, all with the watercolor paints. I did a lot of detail with the watercolor paints with this guy. Alright, we're done. And now he's going to get his face on. It's makeup. That's L'Oreal makeup that you buy at any sort of department store down the makeup aisle. Some eyeshadow. So Morton, who we've affectionately called him, is going to get some eyeshadow now. I'm just going to kick in the eyeshadow. Slowly kick some eyeshadow in on him. Maybe some contouring the eyebrows there, definitely. And after the watercolor, I sprayed him again. And I sprayed him with what they call a workable fixative. It's the stuff you use for charcoal drawings. And when you get that stuff going on him, that kind of primes it so that it'll take the makeup and it'll take these dry pastels. And after I added a little bit of red to those eyes, that purple really started to shine. So I dry brushed in a little bit of red pastel, and that kicked the purple even better. Now we're just really coming with yellows and greens and reds and yellows and adding those in. Not much else to do. A little bit of blue here on the eye. After that, a little bit more around the eye to kind of dig in the shadows there to give them a little bit more contouring and depth there. And once we're done there, I spray painted them with a little bit of Tester's dull coat, clear coat. As you see after the cut here, we're digging in shadows, getting the greens going.